NC State men's basketball beat Colgate last night, 72-49. State's in an interesting place. And I thought back to a conversation we had preseason to kind of help put it into perspective. Now, contrary to some other teams that we cover here in the Triangle, State hasn't really played a true legitimate test yet. They have 4 games. They have 4 wins: South Carolina, Upstate, Presbyterian, Coastal, and Colgate. And they still have William and Mary before getting to their first real test, which is a game against Purdue. 9 days into the future from here. Now, that's different than, say, what Duke and UNC are doing, where they've both already played top 25 teams and have more on the schedule. So State has the opportunity to work on who they want to be before putting themselves through their first big test. And I saw 72-49 as the final score against Colgate. And my first thought was, that's good enough, right? So much of the games against the group of 5 teams, the non-conference kind of cupcakes are, do you dominate enough, or should we be worried because it was close? That's enough, right? 72-49, crossed whatever the pass-fail is. My next thought was, 72 points? That's not a lot. It's not a problem because he held him to 49, but that's a strange total. And it brought me back to a conversation we had with Casey Morsell right here on this show. Casey Morsell, one of the starting perimeter players, starting guards on last year's NC State team that went all the way to the Final Four, won the ACC tournament. And he brought up something funny. He said that this year's roster, right? We're talking about the new guys, talking about the players that returned. He said this year's roster was more in line with what Kevin Keatts, the head coach, wanted to be, right? In a perfect world, the best version of college basketball that Coach Keatts has in his mind's eye, this year's class, this year's team more fit into that style, right? Morsell said that Keatts wants to get up and down, wants to run, wants to shoot threes, wants to be a bit more up-tempo. And last year, he had to, over the length of a season, learn that, slowing it down, DJ Burns in the post, not tiring out the big fella, letting the Michael O'Connells and the Casey Morsell control everything more methodically is what ended up being the right way for them to play, and that's when they went on their run. So I've been waiting for that new version. Right, I've been waiting for the Kevin Keatts ideal version of an offense, and when you're playing against group of 5 teams, you should be able to set the tempo. Right? If you want to run against Colgate, you should be able to run. If you want to run against Presbyterian, you should be able to just decide to run. They shouldn't be able to bog you down. Well, guess what? After that 72-49 game, I went, let's see how it's going. Went into the ACC team stat rankings. Right now, State is 9th in points per game. This is in the entire ACC, all of the non-conference games they've played. 12th in field goal attempts per game, meaning the 12th fewest, right? They are the most shots would be number 1. The fewest shots would be number 18. They are 17th in three-point field goals attempt, darn near dead last. 15th in three-point shooting percentage. That's probably why they're not taking many, not making many. 13th in assists per game. So it's even more methodical and even more ISO slash individuals winning their matchups when they do score. They're 16th in rebounds per game, dead last in defensive rebounds per game. They are all about less possessions, not crashing the boards. But here's where it becomes interesting. They're 4th in field goal percentage. Now, if you want to get up and down, if you want to run, if you want to be aggressive, if you want to take quick shots, your field goal percentage might suffer a bit, but by way of having a large rotation, by way of being in shape, by way of putting the other team into a uncomfortable situation, you're going to make it up by them shooting a worse percentage or you simply outlasting them. The fact that they're slow in most rate metrics, they're not getting up and down, but they're shooting a high percentage, means they might be more like last year than we thought. They might not be a work fast and get the first good shot team. They might be a take your time and get an absolutely great shot team. Right? First 10 seconds of the shot clock, you can get maybe a 40% shot, or you can take your time, use most of the shot clock, and get a 65% shot, and that might be who they are again. Which, I don't know if there's a right or a wrong way, but looking at the roster they've put together, like there is no DJ Burns on this year's team, right? They do look like they want to run, and somebody's going to have to start knocking down outside shots if they want to change the way they've been playing. As I said, their schedule, and they still have William and Mary, does give them this kind of on-ramp to continue to develop and continue to learn before they get tested in a big way. But that Purdue game isn't 100 years into the future. It's 9 days. Kevin Keatts, after their game last night, talked about areas of growth with the media before big-time games, which are coming up on the schedule.
Yeah, I just want us to stay connected. I feel like, it was a process for us last year, and you guys saw what the end result was when a team is connected. You just don't know when they're going to click. And so every day in this modern era of basketball where you're recruiting, it's getting better. You want small wins and see guys getting better, see guys high-fiving each other, see guys having a good time. And that's what the growth is the biggest thing. We got talent, but it's not always the talent of the team that wins. It's the team that comes together in this era. And I just want our guys to continue to grow.
Continuing to grow together. Very coach speak. Like let's call a spade a spade. You can say a lot without saying anything if you really want to. We want them to grow together. We want to come together. Yes, I agree with that. I think it's also about finding out which players are best in which roles, and does the team have players to fill the roles to play the style that the coach wants to play. Again, Kevin Keatts in that postgame talked about yesterday being a confidence booster game for one of the incoming transfers, Marcus Hill.
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, just to see Marcus get back to his groove and play his game. And a lot of times when you transfer here, you're always trying to overthink. And we just say, hey, just simplify the game in your mind and just play. And, that was the Marcus Hill that we recruited, the guy that can get to the rack, the guy that can get to the free throw line. And I thought he did a really good job. I thought he got himself going by rebounding the ball. He had 2 really good, strong offensive rebounds and stickbacks.
Finished with 17 points in just 24 minutes. He wants to get up and run. I want to see if this team can get up and run, and I believe Coach Keatts is going to give them every possible opportunity to do that, because he gave last year's team every possible opportunity to do that until eventually switching over at the last possible second and kind of going DJ Burns-centric, more ISO ball, more screen games. They're not a fast-playing team through 4 games. I'm surprised by that. Michael O'Connell made some really nice passes. He didn't score a bunch. Ben Middlebrook scored a bunch, which is an interesting role for him as well as the kind of the rebounding and defense guy last year. Still a lot to learn about this team. Colgate isn't going to be enough to really give us the lowdown on what that team is. But maybe Purdue and maybe William and Mary in a couple days will be able to do that.